Okay. 3, 2, 1 on Instagram. Okay, hello, beautiful people. Here I am again, multitasking on this week's edition of Misfits Guide to Living. We had a topic this week. It was called control or manipulation. And I'm not sure if that's the path we're going to go down. So we shall see where this live takes us today. I'm just going to kind of follow I think I backed myself into a little bit of a corner with the topic thing. I don't want to talk about that anymore. That's not what I want to talk about. So today is World Happiness Day. Happy World Happiness Day to all of you people. And if you're out there listening going, I'm not happy, it's okay. Okay. What if you are not wrong to start with? And it's, I don't know about you guys, but for me personally, it's been an interesting last couple of days. And one of the things I wanted to bring up was where to kind of go to when a lot of your old stuff comes up. Like for me, I've been pretty open with talking about everything that I've been through over the last 15 years, all the choices that I've made and the journey that I've had. And for me, still, it's like I'll be going down one track, and then a lot of the stuff that I kind of thought, oh man, I really thought I'd change that, seems to come back up. And I know that shows up for a lot of us. So what do you do with that? Well, first of all, to the best of your ability, go to question. Okay, what's right about this and what's right about me that I'm not getting? I know from a lot of different conversations that I've had with different people lately has been, oh man, I feel like I'm going backwards, or I feel like things have stopped again. And let me say this. Let's put this part out there first of all. Is one of the things that you want to get is start listening to the way that you describe what's going on for you. So the feelings part, okay, as soon as you go to, I feel like my life is not working, you have to eliminate your awareness of what could be in favor for what you've decided it is. So as soon as you get to that, have that as an awareness, just destroy and uncreate all that. Everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100 shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Oh, that clearing statement again. So if you haven't heard of that, check out theclearingstatement.com. It is going to be your magic wand. And even if you're like, it makes absolutely no sense, good. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Bypass your mind, because how many of you also try and think your way out of your things that are coming up for you? Okay, that doesn't tend to work so well because your mind is only good at defining what it's only good at defining. It's not good at putting you in the question and giving you a way to get to a different possibility. So this thing with feelings, it's a big one. Okay. First of all, let me say this is your body feels and your being senses. Okay. So your body has feelings. It gives you an awareness of the world around you. Okay. Your body feels, but your being senses. So when you go to, I feel stuck, I feel like my life isn't working, I feel like these things don't change, you're locking that up in your world. Rather than, here's a great question with this, is what am I perceiving, or what perception am I having? Oh, I'm perceiving that I have more choice, or I'm perceiving that, man, a lot of the people in the world around me, a lot of the people that I've been talking with, or a lot of the people that I'm connected to have this same kind of stuff going on. So then again, to the best of your ability, put yourself into question. So the great resource for this, and something that I've listened to again, I've listened to this so many times over the years. Gary Douglas did a telecall, like maybe 8 years ago, and it's called Feelings, Nothing Truly More. And it was interesting because I was one of the people actually he was talking to at the time, and he would go, all right, you need to go and listen to this song. Feelings, nothing more than feelings, trying to, you don't want me to sing that one right now. Okay. But if you're one of these people that like to do a lot of feelings and do I feel this and I feel this and I feel this all the time, it might actually be a great resource, because if you're going to listen to that thing on repeat over and over, it'd probably be a good way out of it. But anyway, he did this telecall and it's so good. You can get it on the Access Me app. You can get it in the Access Consciousness shop. Feelings, nothing truly more. But a lot of one of the things that he talks about in there is, as soon as you go to feelings, you have to diminish what you're actually aware of. Okay. You have to diminish what you're aware of in favor for what you're feeling. So everything that all brings up times a godzillion, we destroy and create it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pop, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyond. Okay, so this this thing of having your stuff come up, all of the whatever that is for you, those things that come up, is, what if you could, how do I put it? Let me say this, because it might be helpful. Well, it's been helpful and kind of uncomfortable for me simultaneously for the last couple of days. Is I was on a call that Dane here was doing a few days ago. One of the things that he talked about was he was having a conversation with somebody, and she was talking about how she was like, oh, you know what, I'm taking plant-based medicine and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, why does that have such a weird energy to it? Like, what do you mean by that, plant-based medicine? And she was like, well, I'm microdosing with mushroom, with psilocybin. And he was like, oh, so you're doing access but not doing consciousness. Now, I want to say something with this first, because if you've just kind of heard of access or are getting into it, or you've been connected to other different modalities or something, you would kind of instantaneously go to that you're doing access but not consciousness, based on the idea of what she was choosing. But it's not that. It's based on the idea of the unwillingness to look at what's actually going on and the judgments that you have of the choices that you're making. This part is not the easiest thing to get, because if you look at one of the things, the way that we define or talk about consciousness in Access Consciousness is, consciousness includes everything and judges nothing, including all of the judgment that you have of you. So in these moments where you have to avoid something that's going on, or you have to try and talk around it, you don't look at it directly, or just, I guess that all of that stuff is where you take yourself from awareness into this idea that there's something wrong with any of it. What if you didn't have to go to judgment anymore as a go-to, or as a way of looking at anything? So everything that brings up for you, where you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pog, all 100, shorts, boys, perverts, creations, bases, and beyonds. And it's kind of it's an interesting thing to even talk about when you, with something like that. This is, this is your journey, whatever that is for you. And you're gonna come up against different things. And to the best of my ability, what I would really like to be on these lives and contribute to you guys is, offering some different things that show up for me and the ways that I look at it and the tools that I use, so that you're like, oh, what if I'm actually not wrong for having this come up? What if I'm not wrong for having this judgment of myself, or avoiding this thing in my life, or not wanting to look at this area, or not seeming to be able to create this? What if there's actually a different way of looking at it? First of all, the willingness to be in question is one that you've really got to practice at that. So it's rather than go to, I feel like this, or this is what's going on, or this is what's not working. Okay, what's right about this I'm not getting? What's it going to take for this to change? What can I be and do different here? What am I unwilling to look at that if I looked at it would give me more choice with all of this? And if you just start, and some other questions, lots of questions with this, some great ones, and I think I've given these before on these lives, is what am I avoiding? What am I defending? What am I proving? And with the defending one, let me leave it at that. What am I avoiding? What am I defending? What am I proving? And what am I unwilling to lose with this? And then see what pops up. And if you start going through it, how many of you also have had an interesting time throughout your life trying to see the way that other people get things and then putting yourself into comparison with how other people see things, or how other people kind of get awareness or get change or get energy or get any of those things, and put yourself into comparison as a way of seeing what's true for you rather than actually asking, what would it take for me to actually know what's true for me with regards to this? And this has been an interesting journey for me also, because I always found myself doing this thing of, well, how do other people get energy? How do other people use these tools? How are these tools working for them? What's showing up for them that's not showing up for me? And I'd always be comparing myself to others. But in that, you have to be in a constant state of competition, which again means a constant state of judgment. So everything that is, and everywhere you're trying to compare you to others as a source for awareness or as a way to get to anything that's true for you, where you destroy and uncreate it all. Hello, everyone. I've got, times a Godzillion, right, wrong, good and bad, POD and POC, all 100 shorts, boys, POVADs, creations, bases, and beyonds. I've got my two devices going at the same time. So for me, it's like, right, shiny things, two of them. I got comments up there and down here. How am I going to look at all of that? Oh my goodness. So what if you where do I what can I contribute to you all today? So interesting with one of the things that I've always had an interesting time with is putting words to certain things. I did a class recently, and how many of you? Let me just ask this first of all: how many of you have that, where you have an awareness of something, and then you go to speak to it, and you can't quite get the words to it, and then it kind of, you're like, wait a minute, where did I go with that? I'm trying to. How much have you always had a serious amount of energetic awareness of the world around you that you have tried to make sense of, that you have tried to put into a cognitive response in order to understand so that other people could receive it? everything that you have done to shut off where you could receive your awareness in order to get other people to understand it, everything that is, will you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pop, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And so I was doing this. I started this class called Adventures with Your Body. And basically, the first part of it is a surfing lesson. And so we did the first one a few days ago here in Brazil. And it was interesting because there was one of the class participants. She was really, you could tell that she was really just stuck in comparing herself to other people and not thinking like she could do it and feeling all alone and, having all of that stuff come up from whatever was going on in her world with that. And I went over to her and I just went, hey, I'm here and you've got this. Relax. Ask your body to show you. Ask your body to contribute and relax. And it was interesting because after it, she started enjoying herself. And the surf instructor came up to us and he was like, what do you guys do? Because I have never seen anyone get results like that. What was he talking about? I was like, I wasn't talking about anything. I was just being me and letting her know that she had support with that. But I bring that up because what if the way that you're looking to change a lot of the things in your life is not the place that you need to be looking in order to change it? What if it's more so, what can I be that would allow this to change? Not what do I need to do in order to make it be something different or make it change? And everything that is and everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive it, will you destroy and create it? Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. And so having that, what if you could start to relaxing a lot more into what it is that you would like to be different, rather than looking at it from this place of continuous judgment, rather than looking at it from this place of what doesn't work and what's the problem and all of that, to, okay, what can I be that would allow me to have a different choice with this? So, pock and pod, everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Hello, India. Yes. So much relaxation. I was just doing a call with someone I work with her membership that she does, Amanda Anderson, who is just a wonderful gift. And somebody asked a question in that membership, and it kind of speaks to a little bit of this. Is he was just in a class. He was just in Grace Douglas's advanced body class that she did in Europe, and everything was just changing. But he said, I realized when I have this thing in my life, when I cannot define the change, I go to unhappy. And we got to some different things like that. But it's interesting how much we do that. Look for the way that you can define something in order to have it, rather than what if you could be an allowance of what if you could begin to allow yourself to get to allowance of you. Now, I know that it's here's where you start with that. Let's do that, because it's not one choice, and none of this is, and that's been that's if you can begin to kind of get that, is it starts with one choice, but it's all the little choices that you're willing to make in the moment. So when you kind of shit hits the fan and you make choices that don't work, rather than have to figure out, okay, so how do I fix it? Or how do I make this right again? Or how do I do any of that? What's a different choice I can make in this moment? And so with that, the allowance, first of all, is interesting point of view. I have this point of view. Now, when Gary Douglas got this tool and put it out there to the world, he used to talk about it as you want to be interesting point of view, which is just any point of view that you have that comes up. Interesting point of view. I have this point of view with every point of view for 6 months. And most people heard 6 months and were just like, 6 minutes? What? 6 months? You want me to do 6 months of that? Well, it's one of the ways that you're going to get to freedom, because if you could have allowance of any area of your life, then it wouldn't matter how it had to change. You could allow it to just show up different. So with that, in having what if you could have a lot more allowance for you also? Interesting point of view. I have this point of view about me. Interesting point of view. This is a problem. Interesting point of view. This doesn't seem to change. But also here's a tool that I use when I kind of get to those things. Like I said, I had a lot of old stuff kind of just surface again for me. And I was just like, okay, what's right about me? What's right about this that I'm not getting? But then there were certain things that for me, there's certain things that you have to change other things before you'll allow yourself to have the awareness of them. So this is where it's the more you can have allowance for you is you start changing some things and then something bigger might show up. It's not, what if that wasn't a problem? What if it's actually showing up? Because now you have the awareness and the tools that you're going to require to actually change it. So for me, one of the tools that I use with this is, first of all, get present. Get present with yourself. Feel your butt on the seat. Be with whatever energy it is that's coming up for you, whatever you've defined it as, whatever you've decided it is, all that stuff, all the insanity that comes up, all of that stuff. And look at who you would like to be with it. So rather than how you've been responding or reacting to it in the past, okay, how would I like to be with this if I was truly being me? And then what choice could I make in this moment that would begin to create that? So then you're actively creating what you would like to have as you tomorrow, rather than looking for the response or the reaction that you need to have in order to deal with it now. Everything that brings up times a godzillion, or you destroy and uncreate it. Right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. So basically with that, choosing from the space of who you would like to be with whatever it is that you're looking at. So let's do last bit here with, let's do this last bit here with money. I know that a lot of people have had that going on, but if you were being you with regards to your financial situation right now, would you be doing the stress, the worry, I'm not going to have enough, aligning and agreeing or resisting, reacting to the world with it all, having all the points of view coming up, the judgment of you, all of that stuff? Okay, who would you be if you were being you with it? Now just get a sense of that. Even if it's not a cognitive thing, get a sense of that. What could you choose? What could you start choosing today that would give you more space for the awareness of what's actually going to work and what's actually true for you tomorrow? Everything that doesn't allow you to perceive, know, be, and receive that for you, we destroy and create it all. Times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and poc, all 100, shorts, boys, povads, creations, bases, and beyonds. Okay. How are you guys doing? You are so welcome. This has been the weirdest life for me. I really just am having a very interesting time with words or any of that. But oh well, how does it get any better than that? And what I want to finish up with is the way you see yourself and the judgments that you have of you are not the sum total of who you are. Okay, what you've decided you cannot be or cannot change in your life is not the sum total of who you are. And that's, one thing for me to say that, but there's go with what makes you lighter with that. And so that thing of looking at choosing from the space of what you would like to be with regards to anything of you being you is it's you're not going to get there without making different choices. And man, man, can I speak to trying to do the same thing over and over again, and just going, oh my goodness, um, and doing all of those things and expecting a different result is, it's not going to change unless you're willing to make a different choice. But that begins with one choice. Okay, it doesn't begin with the biggest choice. It doesn't begin with the right choice. It doesn't begin with fixing the wrong choice. It begins with one choice. And if you begin to start getting a sense with that, is it just takes one choice towards lightness to give you a sense of what's actually true for you, to make another choice that makes you lighter. So if you start even beginning to get that, we're all going to make choices that don't turn out the way you think they should, or the way you wanted them to, or make you heavier, or kind of stop your life, or any of that. Okay, done. What choice can I make now from this point? Not what do I have to do to make what I've just chosen right, or what I've just chosen wrong. So the tool that we talk about with that in Access Consciousness is 10-second increments of choice. And another resource with this that is so helpful, I was just talking about this also on the call that I was just on, is in the foundation manual, there's also a telecall and a book on the 10 keys to freedom. I think the telecall is 10 commandments, and we talk about them in the foundation manual, these 10 keys, the way Gary talks about them in there, which is so true, of if you were to study these things and actually use them, they would set you free in every area of your life. They oftentimes get kind of overlooked. And so the first one of them, let me just give you the first one. Otherwise, I'm going to sit here and just talk for all 10 of them. The first one of them is, would an infinite being truly choose this? And if not, why am I choosing it? And it's such a cool question, because it's one that I started using a lot more in the last few days in looking at some different things. And I noticed where I wanted to go to, no, well, an infinite being wouldn't choose this, as a judgment of myself not choosing as an infinite being. I give you that part because notice when you go to that, when it's questioned based on already concluding the result of what you've decided you are, or what you're trying to get to, which is when you're looking at something that you're in judgment of, most of what you're trying to get to is more judgment. And if you use this question, look at it from the space of, wait a minute, would an infinite being actually choose this? No. Or it could be, yeah, an infinite being would choose this. Then get a sense of that, get a sense of what that is for you, but more so get a sense of what it is for you to actually be in question. So I hope none of this made sense. And there you go. I'll see you guys next week for another Misfits Guide to Living. Just whatever it is for you, Be you. Have way too much fun. Bye.